The Selfish Path to Romance. Download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
And right now, I want to welcome Piper. You're worried about your stepmom?
I have spent a great deal of time. I'm actually getting a bachelor's in psychology. And the reason why I drew these conclusions, I think she might be a danger to herself and others, but I wanted a professional opinion.
Okay.
That it's just me being paranoid, because I'm a single mother of a 1-year-old little girl. So
Okay.
the paranoia kind of kicks in.
Okay, so I understand that. Tell me what you're observing.
I've noticed that she's got aggressive behavior, and when she gets into arguments with people, she tends to threaten to kill them.
Oh.
And then about last year, she got laid off from a factory job, and this was over the phone, and she threatened to burn down the building. And just the other month, because the camera turned up missing, she threatened to slice somebody's throat.
Okay.
And then, so...
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is that this is not paranoia. If she's actually been saying these things, these are not, assuming she's not a comedian and this is what she does on the side and she says it with a big smile on her face, assuming that she's genuinely serious about this, I would not want my 1-year-old around her. Tell me a little bit more about what goes on with your 1-year-old. Does she babysit?
No, ever since this behavior actually really started, I don't really let her stay with my daughter unless she's supervised by me or my dad or her daughter.
Yeah.
And so that way she can be monitored at all times. And it's kind of like I trust her daddy, who left us for potheads. I trust him more than her, and that's kind of a bad thing.
I would not want her around my child at all. I mean, if you're saying that she threatened to burn down her place of business and she threatens to kill people. Yeah, I definitely would not want her around my child.
And the reason why I came to the conclusion of this is because she's also said of how she's had a bad childhood, of how her mama, I think, like, at 16 she's been on her own, and she's dealt with, since about 2010, she's dealt with over 21 years of both physical and mental abuse from her late husband. So that's what also helped me draw to the conclusion.
No, I think you're right on. I mean, I don't think there's any question about it because, number one, you've heard her say these things. It's from multiple sources. It isn't just hearsay. And she herself is saying that she has been a victim of physical abuse. And she's with, you said, the dad, and he's a pothead?
No.
I
said that I trust my daughter's dad. He's not exactly a pothead. He's trusted potheads over me, and he's really abandoned us. And so I trust him more than I do my stepmom with Kendra.
Okay.
Because that's how scared I am of her.
Okay.
And she's not only done this, like she's done this with me and her daughter. And this morning she bit her daughter, and her daughter's like right now sitting in jail because of her.
Well, tell me about that.
Hey, I got to interrupt this because we've got to pay some bills. 30 seconds, that's it. A very quick ad, and then Ellen will be back.
Romance. I wish I knew more about what girls want from a relationship. Boy, I wish I knew more about what I want. Where's that ad I saw? Here it is. The Selfish Path to Romance, a serious romance guidebook. Download Chapter 1 for free at selfishromance.com and buy it at amazon.com. The Selfish Path to Romance. That is interesting.
And her daughter's like right now sitting in jail because of her.
Well, tell me about that. Her daughter is in jail because of her?
Because it was considered domestic assault, and because supposedly she was using self-defense. And this kind of typical argument that they've had has been more. She's been known to hit her, like beat on her daughter, and she's been known to throw chairs. She tried to throw Miracle Grow at my head once. And her daughter is sitting in jail.
Do you have to have any contact with her?
Technically, my apartment is attached to my dad's house. So,
Do you have any options?
not really. Well, I have an option of soon moving in with her dad, with my daughter's dad.
And how soon would that be?
About in a month.
Because
And
I would.
I've already
Yeah, go ahead.
said that if I'm moving out, I'm getting an order of protection against her because I don't feel safe, and I've told my dad that I don't want her around my daughter unless she shows me proof from a therapist or a mental institution that she's okay to be around my daughter. I just don't feel safe until I've seen the paperwork.
Listen, the value at stake is so incredibly high, Piper. It's your daughter. It's your life. It's your daughter's life. You have so much information on your stepmother right now that I would definitely check out what you can do to get a no contact order, a restraining order. Now, you may not be able to because sometimes the person actually has to have made an aggressive act towards you. But if she's already done some things, you want to look into it legally to try to get some protection for yourself. The idea of having somebody there monitoring her when you're in her presence, listen, if she's aggressive, something can flare up and she can act before even if someone's monitoring her. Actions can happen very quickly if she's that irrational. And so I'm not that comfortable with her even doing the monitoring. And secondarily, it's not a pleasure to be around in an environment where you have to monitor not just your daughter's playfulness, make sure she doesn't bump into a little table, but you have to monitor whether someone's going to become aggressive towards you or your daughter. That's an environment. I know somebody who steals money from people's purses, a kleptomaniac they call it, but I think they're a thief. And I don't like being in that person's presence because what do I have to focus on every time I'm around them?
Yes, ma'am.
My purse, right? And
Yes,
other
ma'am.
people's purses. And so I don't like the pressure of having to constantly monitor when I want to be enjoying my friends' company. Not that particular one, but my other friends that are there. So yours is far more serious than just a pickpocket. Yours is talking about your own physical safety and to put yourself and your daughter in that environment. You don't want to do that to yourself. In addition to that, you sound intelligent. You're back in school. You're getting your bachelor's in psychology, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're learning from that. So kudos to you. Congratulations. Because
Well,
you go ahead.
it's not just that. I've also spent a great deal of time watching Criminal Minds, and throughout my senior year in high school.
Okay.
I've focused on the criminals. My senior paper was on the mind of a serial killer because I think minds fascinate me at how they work and how they could be fixed.
Okay. What I would highly recommend to you, is also to focus on the mind of decent people, because not only do you need to protect yourself from criminals, but you want to search out better people so that you can really enjoy good people in your life. So look at both ends of the spectrum so that you don't feel like the world is populated with criminals. There is a very good book, Inside the Criminal Mind, by Stanton Samenow. And to counter that, I would recommend reading my favorite novel, which is Atlas Shrugged. You would need to be on vacation, though, because if you read it when you're in school, you'll probably enjoy the book so much that you won't want to study. But listen, I wish you the best, and I wish you a lot of safety and love with your daughter. You said her name's
Thank
Kendra?
you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
Yes, ma'am. Her name's Kendra, and I actually consider her my salvation because I went through a great deal of depression with her father.
wonderful. Listen, thank you for the call.
For more Dr. Kenner podcast, go to drkenner.com and please listen to this ad.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner.
To sustain a positive emotional climate, both partners need to have an attitude that encourages personal growth. When couples don't grow together, they often grow apart and end up unhappily married or divorced. Couples are in danger if there are significant differences in the way they grow their lives. For example, one may grow in intellectual ability, character, or self-esteem, and the other may not. If one is ambitious, expanding his or her life and making it interesting, while the other stagnates or grows at a much slower rate, the discrepancy often leads to the breaking of the loving bond, leaving the couple mismatched even if they initially were well matched. Partners need to grow together intellectually and emotionally for a relationship to thrive.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com, and you can buy the book at amazon.com.